go. Hey, everybody. This is Jonathan Kersling with the Pittsburgh Technology Council and TechVibe Radio. This is our first in a brand new series. Really pumped up about this. It's our TechVibe Radio One Mic Stand. And we're doing this because it's COVID out there right now. It's awful. No one's telling stories, but there's great stories to be told. And we just want to find a way to get our member stories out there. We want our people, our members, we want our listeners to realize that despite all the craziness that's going on out there, there are businesses that are kicking some butt, that are stepping up and doing crazy things to continue to stay in business, but they're also finding ways to help other businesses. And I just want to have these conversations and tell them in a way that we can kind of keep it fun and engaging and light. And I thought, what a better way to do that than to start off with our good friend, Christopher Evans from PMI. I've known Christopher for literally ages. Christopher, how long have I known you for now?
Oh, I think we both had brown hair. That's how long ago
we both had brown hair. As you can see now here, I'm getting very gray on the sides. And I think you're beating me out right now.
I think so. I've got a step ahead. These COVID times, I'm glad I never dyed it.
Exactly. And I'm thinking after all of this, we're going to have we'll be like Snow White in the top of our head.
Naturale. Very natural, right?
It's nuts. So Christopher, I really thank you taking the time to talk with us and have this conversation. I know you're super busy. Isn't it weird? Like we're working from home, and this is kind of fun. Like, I've got a great backdrop here, which we made here because no one wants to see the back of my attic. And I'm going to warn everybody, I'm in my attic because I have two dogs that like to bark randomly. And when they bark, it goes through the entire house. So it could happen. And if it does, I'll try to mute, but I can't promise. So just be warned, work from home conditions. But Christopher, I see you have a nice office in which to work in your house. I'm a little jealous looking at you right now.
Well, we're fortunate that we do. And I'll tell you, it's an interesting times. I too we have a dog and a 3-year-old. So you may hear both. I'll go for the mute button, hair trigger as well. And actually, my lovely wife, Elizabeth, typically occupies this office on a daily basis, working from home fairly regularly.
Right.
So we kind of share it, but really I'm usually in the living room, but today I must have done something right. But it is a rather nice, quiet room. Yes.
I love it, man.
It's kind of like J.R. Ewing's office, right? The couch in the barn.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know we had the set of Dallas over there in Fox Chapel.
Just never know what CR instead of JR, right?
This is why I like hanging out with you, dude. This is why I like hanging out with you, because you're making me laugh right now. And this is good for us to get a chuckle in times like these. That is
much needed.
Sure. So let's kick this thing off a little bit. First off, man, I want to know about PMI. I was excited. I know you started working over there probably about 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful journey for me personally, Jonathan. I've known the gang at PMI for a long time. By way of introduction to your audience that may not be familiar with us, PMI has been around 30 some years. One of the very first companies in Pittsburgh that produced and produces broadcast television commercials and video, and we've expanded those services, and we'll talk a little bit about that today. But my journey in coming to PMI was one admiring their work from afar as a marketer and as someone who knew them as a partner in a previous life or two. And last fall, all summer I thought about making a change in my life and really going back to my roots in the creative marketing world, which is where I come from and where I've spent a fairly significant amount of time building brands.
I can honestly say, when I visited you at your office for the first time, I was like, dude, you're back in your element now.
Yes. I couldn't agree more, Jonathan. And it's, I'm a believer in fate, and you are where you are to be at that moment in time. And fortunately for me, PMI has undergone, as you'd imagine, a company as mature as that, a lot of good changes the last couple of years. Right. New leadership. Our president, Julia Hannon, has come in and built out capabilities that we previously didn't have, and including our full animation studio and our motion design team, which
we're
are really
hot about that later too, because this is something that people can really take advantage of during these difficult
times. Right on. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But really, as part of the new wave of PMI, they had looked to get into some new channels and new markets and new geographies. And as you know from our friendship, that's what I do, building brands and expanding sales operations for companies. And so the timing for them was quite good. on that second wave of reinventing the company for the next 30 years.
Right.
And for me to be able to leverage the experience that I've had and the relationships and Rolodex, as well as all the, the strategic pieces that I bring to it. It's a good marriage.
Very cool. Very cool. So first off, I mean, how is PMI navigating this right now? I mean, obviously every business, basically everyone's working from home. We all know we're all using Zoom right now. If I have to say Zoom like one more time, I think I'm going to completely throw up, but thank God for it, because it's keeping us together. But I never thought I'd become so acquainted with Zoom so quickly.
No biohazards in your attic there for the sake of the dogs. Yeah, the honest answer is not to minimize the tragedy and the crisis that is present in our world. Yeah. It's a serious thing. The good news for us, so I guess to answer your question, how are we managing?
Yeah.
Day to day, hour to hour, like everybody.
Okay.
But the reality is our company, we were a bit ahead of the curve on being able to work from home with the technologies available in our industry. And,
right.
Our leadership is pretty forward thinking. So a lot of us, as you can tell, have been set up to work remotely. And that includes our edit capabilities and our creative team members and these collaboration tools like Zoom. Obviously I miss as we all do, the social business interaction of being able to meet clients. But quite candidly, our lights are on. We're working from home, but we're trying to be a part of the solution in the services that we have. Communication.
And I know you're considered an essential business because you guys syndicate. And last time I checked, I need my more poetry runs. And I'm allowed to go crazy and start a riot. So you guys are going to keep me from starting a riot because you guys syndicate so many shows and you get it out there. You keep the airwaves filled.
Yeah, we do. Our PMI's business is really comprised of three buckets. To your point, the syndication team, which pushes out broadcast programming from partners like NBC, Universal, all across the country to hundreds and hundreds of stations. The coverage is incredible, and that's everything from entertainment to information to news and broadcast programs. A big piece of what we do. The production division, of which I represent, which we'll talk a little bit about. It is what it sounds like. And the third piece, which is also newer to PMI in the last couple of years, is the feature film division.
Gotcha.
We literally are making productions for distribution in Netflix and theaters once the world resumes normality.
It will. It's gonna. I'm telling you right now, dude.
But yeah, to be very candid with you, we're really fortunate that this while a lot has changed in everyone's day-to-day life, being able to do what we do and serve the public the way we do can happen from home, and it has for a long time for many of us at PMI.
So I'm glad you guys are still trucking ahead and providing services and staying in front of your clients and everything like that, which I think is just fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about how, like, during these times, and this is something I know you have a lot of just personal expertise in this, just from the various things you've done over the years, is really maintaining brand and maintaining communications through all of this. Because like I said, we're not all closed. We're all at home working various, but at the same time, as crazy and as scary as the world has become and as unsure as we are, we still need to maintain some messaging. And I know PMI plays a huge role in that, especially with obviously with the video work that you do. Tell us about how PMI is like plugging in to help maintain brand. And then also maybe tell me a little bit about, just from your own experience, the importance of maintaining brand. This is not a time to shrivel up and go away. You can keep flowing. So.
No, it's really not, Jonathan. I mean, one of the things you have to have as a business in this industry, in any business, is the humanity first.
Yeah, totally.
To ignore what's happening it would be inappropriate. But a brand at this time becomes the glue for how a company is reacting to what is happening. Not just from a promotional perspective, but how are you helping to be part of the solution right now, whether it be for health or for the human condition or for the economy. All of this is intertwined. When this all first hit, and I think the awakening happened to all of us saying, oh my gosh, are we doomed? As in times of other national tragedies, and to your point, having been a part of, the downturn of 2008, 9/11, all these things, perhaps
all the fun stuff, right? Yeah.
All the fun stuff. You do end up getting, some thick skin on these things and you learn to go forward. We at PMI have been talking a lot about the greatest generation, right? World War II, the mentality that they instilled in each other.
Yeah.
What can we do to help? Literally,
Right.
how can it, that yes we can mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can't over here build masks, and that's not what we do, right? We're not a physical product company. We're a content company. But we asked ourselves, how can we help right now? How can we help the community battle back against this? We're fortunate. We're talking about, being blessed enough to have the luxuries of food and homes to work from in our families.
Absolutely.
And, you don't take that for granted. But how can you be helping during this time? So for PMI, what we've done is we've had a series of strategic discussions internally and on a daily basis of
Absolutely.
how can we help right now? What can we give back?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you a very specific example of that. We saw Audrey, your president's post about 412 Food Rescue and the mission critical services they're providing to the needy right now in our region. And it didn't take me long to turn to my colleagues and say, how about we help them tell that story? Let's donate a video that explains what they're doing and how they're doing it.
That's so cool, man. You know me and 412. I love that company. I love Leah, like the work they're doing. And now, like when I see the extra need that's going on and how 412 is stepping up. Now, Christopher, you're telling me that PMI is stepping up to help them.
Yeah, a little bit of breaking news on this. You'll see this in the coming days.
Okay.
We're turning out a piece that's going to explain how they're doing door-to-door deliveries
Cool.
with practicing the safe guidelines and how they're able to serve the needy through these times. And
keeping your cameras at 6 feet.
We're going to be doing a motion design treatment, so actually
cool.
It'll be hands-free. There won't be any contact.
Nice.
And in the instances that where we are able to build traditional video, obviously we're looking to leverage a lot more stock footage and B-roll and still add that professionalism with the graphics and animation to get important communications across. Without divulging who, we've done that for a number of crisis communications for some of the medical providers in the region this past week, as well as products companies that CEOs addressing their constituents and their their employees as well as the public. So we're doing those kinds of pieces too. And quite candidly, without any level of insensitivity on this, Jonathan, companies that are accustomed to still serving the public from home, SaaS companies, for example, right? Software and technology companies, this is actually a really great time for them to embrace full digital transformation.
I was going to say it this way, it's forcing everybody.
Yeah, it does. It forces the hand.
Do software as a service, right?
Yeah, but the thing about it is, Jonathan, I mean, you have to be attuned to what the market needs.
Of course.
And we're watching these national trends like everybody else and saying, what do our clients need at this moment? Perhaps it is a communication about how their lights are on or how they're serving the public. Maybe it's something like these companies locally here, Weigel Whiskey, determining that they're going to be building sanitizer as opposed to just the great products that the consumers can enjoy. So you've got companies that are innovating their entire business models all over the country at this moment. Those are stories that need to be told.
Exactly.
Not just for promotion, but how do I get that, right? How do I get
for inspiration? Because people need to realize, I mean, I don't want to get too patriotic or too weird, but man, I still say, man, in this country, it never amazes me just how everybody seems to step up and become innovative. And it's like, you just can't keep it down, man. It's just like something happens, people find a way around it.
We're already seeing it, Jonathan.
Yeah,
we're seeing it now. I think that some of the initial shock it may not have worn off, but people and companies are adjusting, and you have a real opportunity right now. If you're going to survive and thrive and be a part of rebuilding this massive dent that our economy is going to obviously be living with for some time. How do you
talking
do
about
that?
Broadside, brother?
Yeah, man, it's a broadside. Dent is probably optimistic, right?
Yeah.
Don't leave it to a marketer to use an adjective. But the thing about it is, the reality is that in other national tragedies, you don't fold up the tent. You find a way to move forward. You find a way to serve the community, keep healthy, and then build these businesses back, okay? And right now, I mean, clear, concise, and consistent communication is everything to employees, to customers, to partners. And we're building the kind of communication tools that, get that out there. Absolutely. We've also adjusted our pricing. I think all of us have seen how restaurants who are still able to do takeout or delivery around the country. Have you noticed they've kind of packaged things a little differently, with maybe like a family meal and new pricing, and they're being really obvious about it on their websites. Think about that even with what we do. We've bundled some things that from a motion design and animation perspective that are palatable to businesses of all sizes, budgets of all sizes.
Cool, man.
That, again, they're still elegant, but it's more about that consistent messaging and getting it out. Maintain your perspective, take care of your family, right? But also focus on how you're serving the community and how your business is going to evolve through this. And it's the new normal, right? So you got to be responsive. You got to be agile. You have to be there in front of your customers. And in other instances, we're replacing we're replacing live events for companies with mission critical communications through these videos.
Right.
And they're still professional, and
of course.
And I think that, at the end of all of this, when we look back, this will be a period of time where marketing itself has been part of the solution.
Absolutely. I like that, man. Very cool.
It's not only to uplift people's spirits, but to show what is possible.
Very cool.
Just one other example, not necessarily a PMI related example, but I've noticed, as I'm sure you have, everyone's been binge watching a lot of programming, right? And you hear in our industry something called OTT, over the top, broadcasting on streaming services like Hulu, those types of advertisements.
Absolutely.
Some of the national car companies, to obviously address the stagnant inventory that they have, are making new types of offers available to the public. Like if you are displaced from COVID, you lose your job, payments deferred. So that's real-time innovation. But the public needs to understand that, and they need to see that visually. So messaging like that, I think, is very prevalent, and we are creating those kinds of things locally here.
Right, absolutely.
A lot of our clients.
So I'm so glad I got to talk to you today, Christopher. This is such cool stuff. Before we wrap up our one mic stand here on TechVibe, so how are you keeping your own self sane during this? We're all cooped up in the homes. I'm getting outside and riding my bike by myself as much as possible and getting my energy out and walking my dogs and stuff. But what are you doing in order to kind of keep yourself level, keep yourself cool?
Yeah, well, so our family, we're a close-knit little bunch here. And we have, as I mentioned, a small child. So taking care of her is a big full-time job for us. But keeping it interesting and, keeping her learning through being home is something that my wife and I are very intentional about. Spending time outdoors. We're very blessed where we live in Pittsburgh here in Fox Chapel to have beautiful trails. You can get out there and be socially distant from other people. Be out there all day and not see another person. Walking our dog. But also, I'm an avid devotee of yoga, so I practice in the morning.
Good.
I'm getting back into it. You talk about changing behaviors.
A habit then. That's cool, man.
Yeah. And something else that we've done, personally that has helped. We do a daily stand-up, if you will. You can tell my old tech roots are coming out, right? With our team every morning. And we keep it light, man. We don't just talk. And this isn't like forced fun. We're a very close-knit bunch. So every morning when we get together at 9:30, we talk a lot about what else is happening, what you've cooked over the weekend and, the crazy cocktail recipes that some of us are experimenting with. And so I would say that's been a huge piece of how I personally have been doing it. Right. With a small child, I don't have the luxury of some of our dear friends that are saying that they're, learning to sew and they're catching up on great reading. Now I'm running around here, avoiding getting hit by a flying Peppa Pig. Right. But, it's all good. And cool, I'm very, very grateful that, my wife and I are fortunate enough to be getting through this better than a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree.
And so being grateful, practicing gratitude is just really important right now.
I like that as a great way to end this thing up, dude. Good words of advice. Great information about what PMI is up to. Great information about the importance of keeping your message out there, Christopher. Thank you for helping us kick off the TechVibe Radio One Mic Stand. You're the best. It
was an honor, Jonathan. I appreciate your friendship. I miss all of you at the council.
We miss you too, man.
Keep serving our community with these great innovative programs you guys are doing.
Thanks, man.
It's all about pivoting and serving.
What
And
we've been doing. We've
we'll
been
be
trying
here to
our
help.
best, that's for sure.
And next time if you invite me back, we'll talk about how we're helping the council with some video work too. I
That
won't
would
steal
be,
any thunder there, right?
we got something coming to. We'll be announcing quite soon. That's for sure.
I'm
When
in.
this all comes to an end and it becomes business as usual, right?
Can't wait.
Cool, man. Good stuff.
Thank you, Jonathan, and to all of your colleagues, my best.